A weak man doesn't go to the gym except maybe 1 to 2 times a year. Regardless if he starts to go on a regular basis, his ego gets the best of him. He only hits arms and chest, putting up more weight than he can control. Leg day? Nah, that doesn't exist. He thrusts his bicep curls. He is proud of his 3 reps with the 40-pound dumbbells. But despite all this, he's deeply upset he hasn't grown any muscle. So for the basis of this video, I want to talk about different lifting techniques that you can implement or that you should or you need to implement within your regular training sessions in order to maximize how much muscle that you build. So for the sake of this video, I'm not going to talk about diet. I'm not going to talk about rest. I'm not going to talk about cortisol reduction. This is all just lifting techniques that you need to implement in order to recruit as many muscle fibers as possible to just grow muscle. And the first thing I want to talk about is good form. Good form is essential towards building muscle because it kind of leads into the further points that I'm going to make later on in this video. But you want to think about it in the sense of you're targeting a certain muscle, and if you do not have that certain form, you're not going to target that muscle. So for the sake of this, I have a 15-pound dumbbell that I'm going to use. So I'm going to show you what bad form looks like that I see most beginners start to do is they overexert how much weight that they are capable of lifting. So this is 15 pounds. So what good form consists of is you want to stand up straight, you want to lift it up like that, you want to come back down. Now this is for the sake of a bicep curl, but I've seen some people with the 40 pounds, they just go and if you really think about it, it's not going to recruit muscles, it's not going to grow any muscle whatsoever. So it's just counterintuitive towards your progress because you're wasting your time. Because if you don't hit good form, you're not going to hit the muscle, and you're also going to just increase the chances of getting injured, which will take you out of the gym, and just, it's not a fun case. I've seen people get injured. I've seen people just completely mess up their just muscles just because they couldn't handle their ego and decrease the weight to ensure that they're getting proper form. The next secret to growing your muscles, number 2, is prolonging the eccentric. So the eccentric is the movement where you're kind of retracting the muscle. So for the purpose of a bicep curl, I'm going to show you right now. So the concentric is where you are contracting the muscle up like that, and the eccentric is where you're lengthening the muscle in the sense of returning it back to the initial starting position. So concentric, eccentric, concentric, eccentric. So what you want to do is you want to prolong this eccentric movement. Essentially what you're doing is you're putting your muscle under tension, and when your muscle's under tension, it essentially recruits more muscle fibers. And there have actually been studies shown that if you prolong the eccentric movement, you are recruiting more muscle fibers, the muscle's activating more, which will help enhance muscle growth, and just, it's the most optimal in a sense. I don't want to throw around too many complex words for the sake of this, because I know there's probably going to be some beginners watching this video, but just ensure that the eccentric is prolonged and you have good form. And for the most optimal growth, it's said to prolong the eccentric between 2 to 4 seconds, where the concentric is 1 to 2 seconds. And the next secret towards building your muscles, number 3, is actually just having a high RPE. So RPE is rate of perceived exertion, which pretty much means that how much energy you're putting out on the lift. So let's say that I have an RPE of 10. It's completely out of breath, completely maxed out towards failure. It's squatting, for example. It's you gave everything you got, and you're going to have to lower the weight for a future set because you just can't. You really can't do the same amount of weight for that many reps again. You're exhausted. So ideally, you want to have a high RPE. So I like to just put my lifts out 3 reps before failure each time. So RPE of 7 or 8. So I don't really like rep ranges. I usually go on the basis of how I feel before the end of each set. So I usually have high rep ranges ranging between 9 to 15 reps of a moderate weight of what I think is optimal for me at that point. So I don't want to go completely too heavy, but I don't want to go too light. Just enough to where my muscle could feel it, and enough to where I'm able to control the movement on the eccentric just to activate as many muscle fibers as possible. So essentially what this boils down to is make sure you're putting enough work in. Like you want to like at least break a sweat towards the beginning of your workout. If you're not breaking a sweat or you're not exerting yourself as much as you should, you're not going to be getting muscle as good as possible. And this is something that like not only that I implement, but like Alex Eubank and JPG, they talk about this a lot. Lifting is still it's still a sport essentially. Like you wouldn't half-ass yourself if you played basketball or baseball. So why would you half-ass yourself in the gym? Because you're trying to build muscle. So might as well go all out. And the way I see it is like if you go to the gym and you don't even exert yourself, you're just wasting time. Like let's say it takes you 15 to 20 minutes to drive to the gym and you spend an hour at the gym. So like let's say you spend 2 hours total. It's like you're wasting your time if you don't exert yourself because it's like why'd you show up anyways? And the next secret towards growing your muscles, number 4, is fiber alignment. So what fiber alignment pretty much entails is like the anatomy of like the muscular structure. So like I'm sure you've seen those YouTube videos with like Athlean X or like any other YouTuber where it's like they draw markers on their chest like that. So what this essentially entails is like the muscle fiber lineup. So it's like you want to like recruit the muscles and like activate the muscles in the way that they're structured. So like let's say, for example, chest flies, right? If your fibers go like that and you're hitting chest flies like that, you're essentially recruiting the fibers along the range of motion. So you want to make sure that for the certain type of muscle and the certain type of head of the muscle that you're hitting, like the fibers align with the moment or like the actual just weight itself, because that's how you're going to recruit as many muscle fibers as possible and just like activate the muscle. And this is something that I've implemented and it has pretty much increased my mind-muscle connection. Like I feel a lot more. So like I feel pec flies a lot more than I do like just flat bench. And that's me personally. And I've learned that implementing like flies at different angles, like pec flies at different angles, whether I'm like lean back a bit more or like upright more, I've been able to just feel the muscle work a lot more and it's enhanced my growth personally. So this is something that I can just recommend through my own force of nature that I've implemented in my workout program. And the last secret that I've implemented within my workout, number 5, is constant tension. So what constant tension pretty much entails of is ensuring that you don't return to a resting position in between like reps. So if I were to demonstrate this with this dumbbell right now, like you see people at the gym, what they will do is, I've seen a lot of beginners do this too, is you start out like that, that's normal. You go up like that, and you come down. A lot of beginners, what instead they'll do is they will return it back to their normal position. And essentially it takes the tension off the bicep or just any muscle that they're working on, for example. So this is pretty counterintuitive towards muscle activation and keeping the constant load on the muscle. So you go up, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to stop right before, so like right here. So it's like my muscle still feels it, but I'm at the end of the rep. And I go back up, go back down, just like that. So you want to make sure that you're under constant tension, just so your muscle feels it throughout the whole set and you're not doing just half-assed reps. But that's something that that I noticed. It made it a lot more difficult. So, and it just overall helped my strength and my muscle mass as well. So if you want to implement constant tension, it helps just activate the muscle more, and you feel the muscle like just do a lot more work. And I've noticed that I've been able to do a lot less reps, but those reps have just generally have excelled my progress because the quality is there. An honorable mention towards growing your muscles that I've implemented is just pre-exhaustion. So like this is something I've taken from like Alex Eubank, for example. What he'll do is he will hit like a set or two before his actual like working sets. What he'll do is he'll hit like 15 to 20 reps of like a very, very light weight just to like get the blood flowing to the muscle. And this is something that I do before every like muscle that I work out for like my workouts. So like I hit a push-pull legs 6 days a week, and before every time I like hit chest, I'll just hit like 2 sets of pec flies for like 15 to 20 reps on low weight just to get the blood flowing and like when I actually hit like the working sets of my bench press and my actual pec flies, I hit a lot less weight, but I feel the weight a lot more on my muscles, and I feel my muscles working a lot harder despite the weight being less. And before I implemented like pre-exhaustion, I wouldn't feel the muscles work until like 2 sets in anyways. And for those 2 sets in, I would always like have more weight than I should have. So it'd be more like strength training in a sense, which is not what I want to go towards. I'd want to go towards like hypertrophy training, towards building muscles. So just make sure that, you know, your muscles are activated and warmed up just for the workout in general. Anyways, with that being said, my name is Stan. I come out with self-improvement videos twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. I really hope you like this video for 5 secrets towards growing your muscles. I hope to come out with more videos on self-improvement and just weightlifting in general in the future. I want to do a gym video, but I'm not like the most confident in the gym with a camera. Like, dead ass, like I waited towards my family, was like all out the house to record this video. So I hope to come up with more videos in the future like this. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe, please share it to someone that you think it would help. And please check out some of my older videos that I've made in the past towards self-improvement. And yeah, thank you for watching.